Back in grade 11 math class, I had to learn about the trig circle of fun. It's this strange graph that plots fractions of pi in relation to sine, cosine, and tangent. It made no sense to me, and I had no motivation to learn more because it wasn't connected to anything I cared about. Or so I thought. Years later, when I was studying at university, my engineering roommate tore out of his bedroom super excited to show me something. He was like, dude, when you change the frequency and pitch of a sine wave, it creates different music notes. Isn't that cool? It was. I love music, and for the first time in my life, I found myself caring about a sine wave. And all it took was my roommate connecting a boring concept to something I cared about.
When educators connect student passions and interests to course content, student engagement increases. This creates buy-in because students understand how the subjects they're studying relate to their lives.
Why do I need to learn this? Every teacher has heard that many, many times.
I would say most classes, I'm not sure why I'm doing this, and there's nobody telling us what this class is going to do for us in the future and how it's going to benefit us and what we're going to do.
When am I ever going to need to know when a projectile and a plane and a bird will intersect? Like, man, that's just useless information.
I'd have to say English is one of those that doesn't necessarily appeal to me as much, especially because it contrasts science so much in terms of its writing style. Where in English you could, for example, describe, oh, the weary man decided to buy blue curtains because his life was entrenched by sorrowness, right? In science, they would just cut it and be like, no, the curtains were blue. That's done. What's your next observation, right?
I think students don't think things are relevant because they just can't see the bigger picture at times. But I think it's more about widening their horizons and learning about different subjects. So even though you might not apply it, you might learn something you're really interested in and then go on to study that in the future.
You don't need to make Shakespeare relevant to what am I going to do with the rest of my life. So I don't believe everything needs to have a relevance, but you do need to think about, if I really become somebody who really understands my language well, and I have really good vocabulary, and I understand literature, are there ways in which I can apply this throughout my life?
So what I've learned as an educator and as a teacher and as an administrator in the school system, that if you give kids something that they're really passionate, enthusiastic about, they're going to want to do it. We don't need teachers who are the sage on the stage. We need teachers who are guide on the side. And you will not be passionate if somebody is spoon-feeding you something that you think should be useful sometime down the road. You need to have something you can totally engage in and you see the relevance of what you're doing.
So I'll give you an example. So I've got a young man, and he's fixing turbine engines in the aerospace industry. This young fellow in particular stands out for me because he came from a farm out in rural Manitoba, does not like school. But here he was using sand, he was fixing plane engines. And I said, how do you like this? And he says, Mr. Cole, I love this. And I said, if you want to fix plane engines, you need to know math. And you could see his pupils dilate, because that was the first time in his life math had any relevance to his life. So here he was doing something that he loved to do, and he was good at it, and math was his ticket to get there. Completely changed the landscape, right? And after that, he started doing way better in school, because now school had some relevance to his life.
One thing every teacher can do is ask fairly regularly all kids, what are your dreams? And then as they're teaching whatever subject it is, English, social studies, history, whatever it might be, trying to connect to what you know about Johnny's dreams and Judy's dreams and Frankie's dreams. So it's making school about them, not just about the curriculum. It's about them.
Making school relevant is absolutely critical. When students see connections between what they're doing in class and the rest of their lives, they become engaged. They achieve at higher levels. Their attendance goes up and behavioral issues go down. This is everything you as an educator would love to have.
We want to hear, how are you making connections for your students? Tweet at Career Cruising using hashtag explorepotential. And make sure to click the link below for more educational tips. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.